All right, guys, this person left a hate comment on the channel, but I actually really like the comment because it mentions the phrase free will. And I'm going to prove to you guys that free will does not exist. And also, the Bible makes it abundantly clear that free will does not exist. No man is free. But the craziest thing about this is that this is not an exclusively biblical view. I mean, you look up free will doesn't exist, cosmic skeptic, atheist, free will does not exist, the illusion of free will, you don't have free will. Basically, everyone's probably going to be saying the same thing. Sam Harris, obviously, I think I watched this one. So when we have people over here, Christians, saying free will doesn't exist, and we have people over here, atheists, saying that free will does not exist. Okay, does free will exist? I'm pretty sure we can all say no, it doesn't. So I'm just going to quickly paraphrase what this video says so that you get the atheist perspective, and then I'm going to give you the biblical perspective, okay? So essentially, we humans have the ability to do whatever we want to do, whenever we want to do it, based on our own desires, okay? But the problem comes in when we actually don't choose our own desires. So for example, I like wearing black clothing a lot because black is my favorite color. Why is black my favorite color? I don't know. I just like the way it looks. I think it looks cooler than all the other colors. And also, you can say it's not a color, but that's okay. That's a different video. For another example, ask yourself why you clicked on this video. And the obvious answer is, well, because you wanted to, you desired to, and if you didn't desire to, you wouldn't have clicked on it. But why did you desire to? Because you want to learn more about free will. But why do you want to learn more about free will? Maybe the current answer that you have on it isn't satisfactory, but why isn't the answer satisfactory? Well, maybe because people have been lying to you your whole life. Well, why are people lying to you your whole life? Okay, well, you just keep asking why, and eventually you have to get to the biblical answer. But before I get to that, he actually claims in this video that humans can be forced to do something. So for example, if someone puts a gun to my head and says, give me all your money, obviously I gotta give them my money. There's no choice in that situation, but actually there is a choice. It's just that your desire to live outweighs your desire to keep your money at that time. So external forces can change your desired levels, basically. And of course, your desire to live will most often beat any other desire out there. But in reality, there still is two choices. Someone could resist the person who's pointing a gun to their head and say, no, I'm not giving you my money. So it's not that you can be forced to do something. It's that someone else could narrow down your choices down to two, and that choice could be life or death, right? So it's not really that free will doesn't exist. It's that we are slaves to our own desires, right? We are enslaved to whatever makes us happiest, right? And this is how people get addicted to substances and stuff, because they're enslaved to this pleasure that this thing gave them, and they just can't really get rid of that desire anymore. That seems a bit dramatic, but everyone has like bad habits. I'll just use procrastination as an example. Everyone has trouble with procrastinating. Why? Because we just want to chill. We want to have fun. We want to just do these things that are easy and make us happy, but we don't want to do the things that we have to do in life, right? So we postpone the hard things because we just simply want to do these things more. So how do we escape this slavery to ourselves? Because there's a lot of things that I want to do, and you would admit this as well, that you shouldn't actually want to do because they're bad things like procrastination. So I'm just going to use this picture real quick to explain it. We have a man who is in the middle of a road. We have left and to the right. So let's just say that the left is whatever he desires most in life, of course. And going to the right is the right thing to do, the things that he should do. The traditional concept of free will says that the human will is like indifferent, says that we're in the middle and we can choose evil or we can choose good. So evil, by definition in the Bible, is anything that satisfies your own desires, right? And everything good satisfies God's desires, or good's desires. Good itself is God. So going to the right here in the situation would be doing what God wants you to do. So where does free will come from? Well, free will comes from God letting his hands off and letting people do whatever they want to do. And this is the world that we live in today, where people get to do evil things whenever they want to do them, of course. In fact, Jesus said it this way, very truly I tell you. Again, that phrase, whenever he says very truly I tell you, that means it's extremely important. Everyone who sins is a slave to sin. That is all of us, right? We are slaves to our own desires which point this way to do what makes us happy. Now, a slave has no permanent place in the family, but a son Son belongs to it forever. So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. So if the Son sets you free, again, you're not going to be enslaved to sin anymore, but you will be slave to God now. The good things, the right thing to do in your life. So another common question people have is like, well, do people have free will in heaven since they're not going to be able to sin anymore? And the answer is no, of course not. Because they are slaves to God. All of their desires are based on what God wants them to do. In fact, people in the Bible refer to themselves as slaves to righteousness. Let's go Romans chapter 6 here. Let's go 16 and 17. Do you not know that the one to whom you present yourselves as slaves for obedience, you are slaves of that same one whom you obey, either of sin resulting in death or of obedience resulting in righteousness. But thanks be to God that though you were slaves of sin, you became obedient from the heart to that form of teaching to which you were entrusted. And after being freed from sin, you became slaves to righteousness. But real quick, back to this illustration. A lot of people will still claim to say that even though they don't believe in Jesus, that they can still do good things without following God's commands. But that, by definition, is self-righteousness, which is not good. Or even worse, some people will say that humans are bent towards good and not evil, which is a blatant lie, because when you look at this world, what do you see more often than not? You see evil, you see wars, you see lies, you see negativity everywhere, because humans are geared towards negativity, evil. And again, that's why just this Bible is so offensive to us, because it very clearly states there is no righteous person, not even one. There's no one who understands, no one who seeks out God. They have all turned aside. Together they have become corrupt. There is no one who does good. There is not even one. Their throat is an open grave. With their tongues they keep deceiving, the venom of asps under their lips. Their mouth is full of cursing and bitterness. Their feet are swift to shed blood. Destruction and misery are in their paths, and they have not known the way of peace. There is no fear of God before their eyes. This is in reference to every single human who has ever lived. The Christian is not better than the non-Christian. The Jews are not better than the Greeks, because everyone is under sin. Everyone has contributed to all of the evil in the world. So basically, we have two choices as humans. We follow whatever we want to do in this life and say, no, I don't want to follow the right thing to do. I want to be happy my whole life. When the world says believe in yourself, Jesus says, if you want to come after me, you must deny yourself. Take up your cross and follow him. Anyone who wants to save his own life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for his sake will find it. All right, before I end the video, I'm gonna just ask you, what would you do if you saw someone walking by and they dropped their wallet, right? Obviously, the right thing to do would be to get the wallet, bring it back to them, you know? Obviously, life's purpose is not personal happiness, because if it were, then you would obviously be like, yeah, let's grab this wallet for myself. Let's take all the money in it, because I don't care about this guy. It's all about me. So yeah, carry that into every situation in your life. Do not do what you want to do, but rather do what is right, what is just, what is praiseworthy, and what is selfless and kind and patient and forgiving. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in the next video.